Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel Soul Journey. My name is Beck, and today we are doing a reading for the collective. I didn't do one on Friday, but I decided to do one today, which is the 11/11 portal, November 11th, and we'll see what comes through. So this reading is a little different than the ones I've been doing, similar, but we have 5 decks we're working with here, and also there's a new tarot deck that has come through to work through this Scorpio season, Mercury retrograde, and this 11/11 portal. It's more of a shadow deck, so it is coming forward and it is just being really, really yummy. So as always, if this message resonates with you, definitely comment down below, let me know, and share it with anyone you feel could use it, and please subscribe and like the video. All right, let's get into it. So the decks we are using today is the Tarot of Vampires, the Soulful Woman Oracle, the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, the Blind Spot Oracle by Teal Swan, and the Sacred Rebels Oracle. As you know, if you have followed my readings before, all the cards are flipped over until I flip them and see them. So you are seeing them when I'm seeing them. This helps me with my intuition and things like that. And if you have any questions, definitely comment them down below. And if you'd want more clarity on this reading, I highly suggest going and seeing last week's reading. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can head down to my description to my Etsy shop where I offer personal readings as well. All right, let's get into it. So close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Let the energy flow into you. Release any stagnant energy. If you are drawn to be with a certain crystal, I have my selenite here. Bring that into the space. Relax your body and open yourself to hearing. I just saw 222. Open yourself up to hearing this message and to have your intuition take on what serves you and release the rest. I'm very excited to get into this reading. All right, so today's theme, first of all, I want to start off with the Blind Spot Oracle, which I usually do after I see the theme, but I'm really feeling like it wants to come up first. It was the first card that was pulled in this spread, and let's just see where we're starting. The Tarot of Vampires is a shadow work deck for me. If you'd like to see the other shadow work decks, I suggest you can check out my recent video, my favorite shadow work decks. And the Blind Spot Oracle and the Tarot of Vampires are definitely on that list. So I want to start off with the aspect of us that we're not seeing right now so that we can get more clear on where we're going with in this reading. So the card today is 17. All right, and now I just suggest as you listen to this, open yourself up to step into the subconscious and really start tapping into your shadow. Wow, I literally opened to the page. Okay, blame. If you have drawn this sigil, you are blaming others and blaming circumstances instead of clearly seeing what you are thinking, saying, and doing to create the situation at hand. Look at yourself honestly. Do you have a reason or excuse about why something went wrong that absolves you from, do you have a reason or excuse about why something went wrong that absolves you from guilt, responsibility, or fault? It is understandable why you would choose this perspective or choose to only see someone else's fault in a situation. Seeing your own fault makes you feel terrible about yourself and desperate because it means you might have been able to do something different that would have potentially prevented the negative situation at hand. That is torture for most people to become aware of. But if you refuse to see your responsibility and even fault in this situation, you will not see what you could have done differently. This makes it a literal guarantee that you cannot make actual remedies to the situation, and this means you are likely to end up in the exact same situation over and over until you see where you went wrong and what you need to do differently. It is important not to blame yourself. It is also important not to blame others. Instead, we must clearly see what was theirs and what was ours relative to the situation at hand. What we must not do is to use our awareness of what was theirs or even invent inaccurate stories about how they are to blame so as to avoid seeing what is ours. If you have drawn this sigil, you need to take responsibility for what is and was yours. Sorry, I'm like a little spacey here. Responsibility is the opportunity to act independently because you are the one who has the duty to deal with something autonomously. This makes you the one who is accountable. Responsibility is also required to achieve an aim. Not taking responsibility is like standing at the end of a bowling alley hoping someone else will throw the bowling ball for you so that you don't have to be accountable for the results of doing it so yourself. This is what you are doing when you are blaming others. You are putting yourself in a position of powerlessness, and in a situation we are telling ourselves we could or can do nothing about. Responsibility comes with a certain kind of pressure. Now it is time to really accept and take on this pressure for the sake of your own life and your own relationships. Okay, so the shadow we're not being aware of is how we're blaming outside things for what's going on in our life. So this could also be about, what is the reality we're creating? What are we bringing to relationships? What are we bringing to the planet? Are we blaming other people on the planet for what's going on the planet? Are we taking responsibility for how our actions are affecting the planet and the beings around us? So let's be aware of that. That is our collective shadow right now at this 1111 portal, so be aware of that. All right, let's get into the rest of the reading. So our main theme for today is choice. Ooh. So I feel like this is very clear. Are we taking responsibility for our personal choices? Are we taking responsibility, or are we blaming others for their choices when we're not really looking at our own? This can be very in your private life, this could be in your your friendship group, or this could be on a bigger scale. I think a lot of us are exploring this on a lot of different levels. So as above, so below. What's going on internally is definitely what's going on externally and with the entire collective. And since this is for the entire collective, we should probably look at it on a bigger scale as well. All right, what's going to assist us with that? Perception. All right, so I feel like this is saying we perceive that our choices may not be as big of a deal as we think they are, right? Our perception might be they don't matter, right? That other people should take responsibility for their emotions. Other people should take responsibility for the planet. What's going on the planet isn't really ours. It was talking about in the blame thing, things that feel out of our control. So what's going to assist us with this is perception. Are you perceiving the choices you're making accurately, and do they need to be reevaluated? And again, this can be on a personal relationship level, or this can be on a bigger level as well. What's going to hinder us? Well, there it is, the shadow self. That's pretty obvious, right? So, man, these are really, really clear. So what's hindering us is the shadow self, are the parts of us that we don't want to accept, the parts of us that we've shoved down, the parts that we don't really want to look at. So on a personal level, this could be the aspects of ourselves, what we're experiencing in our reality. We don't want to take responsibility for it. It's the person victimizing us. So be aware of that. Rather, be aware of the fact that your shadow self puts off a frequency. Even though you're not conscious of it, it puts off a frequency, and that attracts a lot of your reality. But on a bigger scale, the shadow self is the things we don't want to look at in society, right? The things that we feel are not okay, and so we shove them aside. We don't want to look at them, but as we know, the only way we can heal them is if we look at them, get present with them, and make choices that feel good and actually heal the collective. All right, let's continue. All right, I'm feeling like this also, by the way, has to do with the environment, but it's also about the collective societal issues we have, about the rejection of the other, seeing the other, and wanting to reject the aspects that we don't like about the collective. And this can be anyone, looking at anyone you don't personally agree with or you feel are wrong or evil. look at that. We are all a collective consciousness. It's important that we start to engage and understand we are collective conscious. There are just some that are living in the shadow aspects and some that are living, you know, in the higher aspect, more conscious aspects. But since we are all a collective conscious, society is a reflection of our internal. So the best thing you can do is work on your internal, and that will come out into the external. By the way, no one is absolved of that. Everyone is a part of the shadow and the light. So be aware of that. Don't start pointing fingers going, oh, those are the shadow groups. No. All right, now let's get into the tarot. So the main energy for the tarot today, Eight of Skulls in reverse. Okay, so that would be skulls as pentacles in the Tarot of Vampires. So being in reverse is we're not using our talents, we're not using our focus, and we're not actually creating in our real reality. I think a lot of us are thinking a lot about what we want, but we're not actually taking action, honing our skills, honing our excellence to create actually what we want. There's a lot of thought, not a lot of action. The Eight of Coins, the Eight of, Pentacles, the Eight of Skulls is all about honing your craft in the physical, taking action, doing what feels good. I just saw 1111, that was perfect. Actually creating what is going on internally for you. A lot of us are thinking about it, not a lot of us are taking action to create it into the physical and honing that aspect of us. What's going to assist us with that is Two of Grails. Ooh, so for me, this really represents to me, this is collaborative connection, not only within yourself, but because this is a collective reading, and I feel like this has to do with a lot of the, the bigger scale things, connecting with others, creating bonds, teamwork, so that we can create stuff together. A lot of people feel like, especially what's going on the planet, is out of their control because they feel like they're just one and they cannot do anything. So if you're feeling like your choices don't matter, that it's like doing nothing, connect with other people, create community, do stuff together. That will help you feel like, there's more on your side, but also there's more moving forward. There's something that, in the Bible it says, ooh, I haven't quoted the Bible in a long time. The Bible says when two or more come together in prayer, intention, they cannot be stopped. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the idea. And prayer, as we know, is intention, is meditation. So focused intention of gratitude, asking for what you want, positive focus, sending your message out to the universe. That would be what we consider prayer, whether it's towards God or the universe or whatever. When two or more come together, you are unstoppable. All right, what's going to hinder us? We have the Judgment card. All right, so I feel like this Judgment card is coming up because we feel like some things feel like it's too late. Sometimes a lot of us are having a hard time making these choices because we don't feel that our choices are actually going to make a difference. And this can be on a bigger scale or on a smaller scale. A lot of us feel like my partner is exactly who they are, and no matter what I do, they're just going to be the way they are. And what we don't really realize is, of course, everything is a mirror. So like when two people come to an argument, it takes two to tango. If you don't engage in that argument saying, no, I'm going to be in a peaceful state, let's talk about it later, that argument can't continue. And it's the same on a bigger scale. So this idea of judgment, of being like too late, of things, not being able to be renewed, is really becoming detriment to this creative process. We want to flip around this Eight of Skulls into a focused intention while collaborating and not, get bogged down in this idea that things cannot change. What's going along with that is Six of Skulls. Okay. Ooh. I feel like this is meaning that we feel like we don't have help. We don't have that collaboration that's actually going to assist us. There's a belief that, I don't know if that was in reverse. I don't think it was. Okay. That we don't have, the support or the means to do what we want to do. And so that's really hindering us from making the actual choices we have. But as going back to this, who are we blaming? Are we blaming others for that? Or are we taking responsibility for why we don't have this collaboration happening? Okay. What is going to, let's see. Okay, Spirit wants to talk about specific things in this reading. Okay, so the first one is Eight of Scepters in reverse. Okay, so as we know, Eight of Scepters is about things happening quickly. It's a really hectic card. Things happening quickly, and I think Spirit is acknowledging the fact that things aren't happening as fast as we would like them to, so we're getting bogged down. We think things can't change, and what Spirit is telling me right now is that that is perceived, and it's actually become a cyclical issue where, because we don't see it happening, we now believe that that's been confirmed. So step into your creative power, and let's flip that Eight of Scepters around, or Eight of Wands around, and understand things can happen quickly if we have that positive intention. I'm also getting from Spirit, recognize what you're actually focusing on. Most of the time when we think we're focusing on something positive, we're focusing it on because we see a lack of it, and that's really the vibration we're holding. So come into gratitude, come into a space of alignment with having that. So feel like what it would feel like, envision it, step into it, meditate like it's already there, and that's when you're going to vibrate with having it. When you're stepping in, for example, with the environment or with money, if you're thinking about, oh, this is terrible, oh, I don't have the money, if you actually think about those things, feel how those feel in your body. I don't have money, I don't have this, I need this because I don't have this, we need to fix this because this, we need to be healed because of this. It implies that it's broken. It implies that it is not fixable, and you're being in that space. I just was talking with Spirit today about the difference between saying we need, I want this to heal me versus this vitalizes me. And when you say this needs to be healed, it implies that it's broken. When you say something vitalizes you, like food, it means it's bringing you more energy. You don't have to be broken to have more energy. You can just more and more and more. So I think we need to start looking at the planet, at our society, not as broken that needs to be healed, but something that can be revitalized, that can be brought into alignment, and something that can just be more authentic versus it being broken and needing to be healed. So be aware of that. All right, the next card from Spirit is Two of Skulls. Interesting. So for me, there's a mirror here. I think this is a mirror. It's strange because it's like a mirror, but like she's wearing two different outfits. So I feel like this is representing, duality, but also the reflection that society is for us. The reflection is, even though it seems like it's another person, it is a reflection of us. And if you see this, she has different outfits, so it's like a different person, but it's really the same person. It is a reflection. And so be aware of where you see them as an other versus actually seeing them as a part of yourself. Because once you see them as a part of yourself, not only can you take them with love and compassion, but you understand that as you shift, your reality will shift as well. Okay, so now we're going to look at the main energy for this whole spread, and that is strength. I think that's pretty clear. We have the strength to do this. A lot of what's holding us back is our belief that it's not possible, but ultimately we do have the strength to come together. The strength card is about, taming the beast. And so I feel like we do have the strength to take these aspects of us that we don't like and to bring them to us, to nurture them and to understand them and create a friendship and a bond that's actually much more powerful than we are separately. And actually through that, we create more power as a collective. And what's going along with that is Queen of Knives, okay, or Queen of Swords. So for me, that really represents focused intention, understanding how your thoughts create your reality, understanding your mental, like how strong it is. Something that Abraham Hicks mentioned is, is it Abraham? Or was it Bashar? One of the channel beings. They said, if you understood how strong your focus was, how powerful what you focus on is, you would never focus on anything negative again. And they mean negative as, don't be aware of it, but you would understand that your focus should be all towards what you want versus what you don't want. And so I feel like that's what this queen is saying, is focus your intention, understand your power, understand the power of your thoughts, and be very, very aware. My partner and I were just talking about this. We're very aware of the food we bring in our body. We're very aware of those things. But then there's other things we're not as aware of, what we're ingesting, what's on the internet, the beings we're around, these things, what is actually in our space, what are we actually taking on, and is it as healthy as what we would want it to be? So be aware of where your intention is and your focus. All right, moving on to the Soulful Women's cards. And the 4 of these came out. So he said, uniquely myself. I trust that who I am is perfect for my unique journey and soul path. So I feel like this is coming into understanding that everyone has a part to play. Even though we feel like we can't change things, we actually all came here with a specific purpose and a specific job. And I don't mean this in the sense of like when you hear job, you think like, oh, I have a job to do. But no, you were built to do something that excites you. When something excites you, it means that that's what you were built for. It's like your body telling you, oh, this is my purpose. This is my path. So it's not about doing a job that you're not going to like. It's understanding that your unique self is perfect for exactly what you need to do in this life to assist the planet in raising in consciousness. So the more uniquely you are yourself, the more authentic you are, the absolute best gift you are going to bring to the planet. All right, what's the next card? My creative power. Well, there's that. As I invest in my own creative potential, I experience my female or male creative genius. And now we can go into the female and saying intuitive, healing, nurturing. So if that resonates with you as a male, awesome. But you can say this either way. With your masculine, the masculine is hugely healing when it's in its divinity, and when that comes forward in its healed space, it is powerful creative energy. As we know, the seed, it's fertile, it's forward moving action that's very, very powerful. So as I invest in my own creative potential, I experience my female and male creative genius. All right, so again, understanding the power of your creativity, the power of your thoughts, your creative flow is hugely powerful, and what's going to assist you is to let go of mistrusting it. All right, soul's truth. I listen to my soul's simple truths and allow my life to unfold naturally. So again, trusting in your own path, understanding that you're here for a reason and it's exactly what you should do, and being your most authentic self is exactly the gift that the planet needs. All right, igniting my joy. Attuning to my highest good in myself and others ignites my natural joy. So again, coming into what feels good, understanding that your passion is directing you towards exactly where you need to go. Understand that your body is tuned to tell you where you're supposed to go in your life. And it's important as we do shadow work to come back to that, because so much of us have been told that other things are what's important, and we need to come back into our own awareness of self and come in and ignite that joy again. And the final card, which is from the Sacred Rebels, is Inner Trust. Wow, amazing. So that comes full circle. Trusting yourself, trusting that you have the creative power to make the changes you want. Don't blame others, as we know the shadow is. Understand your creative power. Understand your inner drive and your inner goals, and trust in your soul's truth and your creative power and your unique self. And understand that most of what's holding you back is your perception of your lack of power to create worlds, as Abraham Hicks would say. All right, so that was today's reading for 11/11. Please let me know if it resonated. This just came through and it felt so yummy. If you have any questions, comment them down below. And again, if you would like a personal reading with me, you can head down to my description where my Etsy shop is, and also in the description are my other social media platforms if you would like to follow me there. And definitely, if you want to see more readings like this in the future, or me talking about spirit, connecting to self-love, veganism, sustainable living, channeling, the Galactic Council and the Feline Council, definitely hit that subscribe button. We are here every single week, most weeks, unless it's not self-loving for me. Getting that flow, baby. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how this resonated with you, and definitely share it if you found it helpful. Many blessings, you guys. Namaste. And don't forget, it is all about the soul journey. Bye.